So quick question, how many of you guys pay for Spotify? You have a monthly subscription, whether it's discounted or otherwise. How many of you guys have Spotify? Okay, so about 2 out of the room, which is lower than I expected. A lot of people do have Spotify. It's a very popular model. It allows you to listen to as much music as you want to. It has huge music libraries, and it allows you to listen to whatever you really want to. So the article that I analyzed was the real reason why the Spotify model is broken. It was published by thedailyDot.com, and it was published on November 17th, 2014. So to start off, what exactly is music streaming? And music streaming services can honestly be traced back as far as the jukebox. The basic concept is that you can listen to whatever you want to, you can choose from a variety of whatever you want, and it plays for you. The process of freely listening to whatever music you want to, as opposed to attending a concert or buying an album or some other hard copy, was pretty revolutionary because it was something that a lot of people hadn't really had a chance to do. But producers didn't like this because the producers of the music couldn't sell hard copies and they couldn't fill concerts as easily if people could just listen to whatever they wanted to in certain venues. And ultimately, artists, as urged by their producers, began to pull their music from the jukebox and radio play. And this is pretty apparent of things that are going on today where you see artists like Taylor Swift or other smaller artists taking their music off of Spotify because they don't see it as a profitable model. So moving on from the jukebox theory, music streaming in our generation started off with Napster, which was a program in the 90s that basically every music that they could find and download into MP3s, they shared it to everyone for free. A lot of copycats began to mimic them after they were shut down because obviously a free model entirely could not be sustained. The variations of them are everywhere. I'm sure if you guys don't use Spotify, you might use Pandora, you might use Google Play, you might use iTunes, there's tons. Each of them have their own gimmick, whether it's a monthly fee, or it's a recurring fee, or you just listen to advertisements. They all have some way of charging you for this music. And then Spotify was the first music streaming service that you could have truly unlimited, and you could choose whatever song you'd like to listen to. All it had was a monthly charge. So Spotify began in Sweden, and it really started to establish itself in the United States because over in Sweden it lowered piracy rates. So people stopped stealing music so often because they have this alternative to it. And so when producers over here started hearing about that, they started thinking, well, maybe we can bring that to the United States and hopefully cause the same effect. And despite this wave of initial success, Spotify began to run into the recurring issue that everyone else before them had also experienced, and that was producers doubting its profitability. And then this doubt could be the driving force behind Spotify's unwillingness to redesign the compensation system, which is what the article speaks about. So the problem, as according to the article, is that Spotify does not make its money from individual plays of a song. It makes its money from subscriptions. And a lot of people think, well, that doesn't really matter so long as they're making money and they're distributing it. But the problem is, it comes with the way that they divide it amongst the artists. So basically, Spotify takes 30% off the top of your subscription. So if you pay the undiscounted $10 subscription, Spotify takes $3. And that seems fair. However, the remaining $7 is divided amongst the other artists of Spotify. And so in order to satisfy the extremely popular artists who bring in large crowds, almost all of the money is given to the top 200 most played artists. So hypothetically, if you were to purchase one subscription for $10, you listen to one song, and it's from some unknown band, and then you decide you don't like Spotify and you cancel the subscription, out of those $7, that artist will make 7/100ths of a penny. And so the solution, this picture is not working, but that's okay. The picture basically just shows that about 1% of all the money that you make would go to a small artist. And so the article proposes that instead of going off of that, you take the subscription and you divide it amongst the number of plays that you give to whatever artist you chose. So it uses the two examples, Butchers of the New Frontier and Madonna, to kind of symbolize a very small artist and a very large artist. And so they say that if you spend 3/4 of your time listening to the small artist, which is Butchers of the New Frontier, they should receive 75% of the profit, whereas if you spend 1/4 of the time listening to Madonna, then they should get it too. And so when it comes to this article, I think that they are a little short-sighted, and I think Spotify has found itself in a really bad situation. This article plays the solution as foolproof, and it's an immediate solution. However, this article fails to acknowledge that previous services have attempted this model, but they have failed because they were not able to make it profitable. Spotify has worked hard to have its service legitimized by producers in the United States, and if they don't compensate the people who bring the listeners in, then the producers will just look elsewhere. So in conclusion, Spotify's inability to acknowledge and compensate small-name artists appropriately is well documented and glaring. Alternative services are coming out that claim that they're going to fix this problem, and Spotify is starting to feel the pressure because of that. But in order to remain a relevant company, Spotify needs those high-name artists which bring people in to listen to. And so I think that Spotify really needs to find a way to give these small artists an incentive without just paying them, because the model that they have right now can't be fixed as easily as the article suggests.